I know many would call what I'm about to say heresy, but despite the relics, the records, and artifacts that can be found across the lands of Iskara, I can't help but wonder if the gods we worship so deeply ever truly existed, at least in the physical sense such records allude to. The eternal flame, father of fire, and the dragon above all, Ireum is the god of rage, dragons, and the chaotic or destructive nature of fire. In Sarkosh myth, it is said that Ireum is but one half of a long-forgotten deity that was cleaved in two during the Silent Night. From the deity's corpse arose Ireum and his counterpart Sar, and from the deity's blood arose the first of the Drorava, or Great Dragons, and the Sarkosh people. The legends continue to speak of Ireum awaiting the Great Dragons to reach maturity before ordering them to bend the world to their fiery will. And for centuries Iskara was the world of dragons, though this age would end when Tarik Varo, the first descendant, would slay Uradax, the Black Dread, the greatest even among the Drorava. It was this defeat that was said to have shamed Ireum, and he would not seek to guide the Drorava or the Sarkosh for centuries, leaving that responsibility solely to Sar. Ireum's artifact is the Dragon Heart, a gem that fuses to the skin of one it deems worthy. Once fused, the heart is said to enhance the wearer's physical capabilities, making them immune to any and all forms of fire damage, and if the wearer is trained enough in magic, empowering fire-based spells. Though a noted side effect of the heart is that when it is actively used, it is said to induce a state in which it feels as if one is being burned from the inside out. The realm of Ireum is said to be one of colossal volcanoes, jagged mountain ranges, and it is a place in which the magical elements thrash out with violence. Needless to say, it is not a realm for the weak. The scaled mother and the embracing flame, Sar is the goddess of rebirth and the life in which fire brings. Born from the corpse of a slain god, Sar is the counterpart to Ireum. Where he represents the ruinous power of fire, Sar represents the cyclical nature of it and a life that can arise from its ashes. After the defeat of Uradax, Sar guided the Sarkosh alone for quite a time, which has resulted in her being seen as the patron deity of the Sarkosh, whereas Ireum is more associated with dragons. Sar's artifacts are the Blade of Ash and the Staff of Embers. The blade is a searing weapon that is said to render anything it cuts into ash, befitting its name. The staff is believed to be capable of using ash and cinders as a source of fuel to create a flame archaic, elemental creatures born of pure arcana. This enchantment is why many seek both the staff and blade, given their complementary effects, though a creative mind could still make use of the staff. Her realm is the Crucible, and it is said that most of the realm is an ash-ridden wasteland, but at its center lies a verdant oasis. It is believed that in Sarkosh myth, that upon death, true worshippers of Sar will enter the Crucible, and they can either endure the waste to find paradise, or lose any remaining sense of self, and wither away into oblivion. The roaring sky and the lord of the depths, Torven is the god of storms, thunder and lightning, the deep, and tsunamis. The patron deity of the Torvithar, or storm elves, Torven cared little for the meek elves that washed upon the shores of Nawale millennia ago. And it wasn't until the desperate elves mustered their remaining strength to slay a black scale worm, one of the largest and most ferocious marine creatures in all of Iskara. It was this feat that is said to have garnered Torven's interest, and from that day on, Torven would teach these elves the ways of the storm. His artifact is the Storm Tyrant, a trident that, when thrown, strikes with the speed and force of lightning before returning to its wielder. Torven's realm is said to be a place consumed by raging tsunamis and everlasting storms. But deep in these divine waters, massive beasts stalk and consume those too weak to brave the realm. Dotting the plain are various islands that are spared from the turbulence and are described as idyllic paradises. The Earth Eternal and the Great Titan, Stherin is the god of stone and stasis. The only deity the Dundafar or Deep Elves worship, Stherin is a lesser-known deity among the various pantheons. From Dundafar stories and stone records, Stherin teaches perseverance and endurance, to mimic the very stone that supports the world so that you may never falter. His artifact is the Shaper's Hands, gauntlets that dramatically increase the wearer's strength, so much so that the simple impact can produce a minor earthquake. His realm is said to be a place of rock and stone, with magnificent gem spires that radiate vibrant energies. Master of the tides, Ranoui is the god of water, rain, rivers, and the seas. A prominent deity within the modern pantheon, Ranoui in modern myth is said to have found the world of Iskara, but it was lifeless and devoid of purpose. From his sorrow, Ranoui cried for 14 days and 14 nights, and from his tears came the first waters which spawned the modern people. However, when the moderns emerged, they did so on a world with no wind to carry their voice nor their songs. Ranoui has two known artifacts, the Rain Charmer and the Whisperer of the Depths. The Charmer is a staff that is capable of manipulating water in a fashion similar to that of magic, which has begged the question as to why ice is an element that can be manipulated by arcana, whereas water is not. The Whisperer is a necklace that allows its wearer to breathe underwater unimpeded, which has made it a prized treasure among moderns and treasure seekers alike. Ranoui's realm is said to be one consumed by never-ending oceans, where massive coral structures mimic mortal architecture in cities, and where beautiful creatures glide through the calm waters. Conductor of winds and lady of the eternal skies, Geroa is the goddess of wind, air, and the sky. In modern myth, it is said that Geroa took an interest in the amphibious people when they emerged voiceless. It was then she decided to gift the world the wind song, which brought sound to the world and allowed the moderns to create music and speak to one another. It is this reason that the moderns and other faiths also associate language with Geroa. The artifacts associated with her are the Song's Breath and the Zephyr's Wrath. The Song's Breath is a pan flute that is said to charm those that listen to its melodies, and the Zephyr's Wrath is a spear made of pure galing winds that when thrown strikes the area before releasing a violent burst of cutting winds in a small area around it. The wrath then reforms in the wielder's hand. Her realm is said to be a place of calming winds that flow between cities, floating amidst the clouds. Immahura is the god of healing and medicines. Once the patron deity of the Bushiri people, Immahura became common in other pantheons following the events of the incursion. Since the incursion, the Bushiri have melded Immahura and Maeve together to represent healing through blood magic, a skill that few other cultures would ever consider exploring. Immahura's artifact is the God's Hand, a staff said to be capable of curing any ailment, illness, or affliction. This enchantment has made the staff a highly desirable item, but it has been lost for centuries, though some theories would suggest it was deliberately hidden away, but the reason remains unknown. It is rumored that Immahura's realm is a place of pure restorative energy and where afflictions are a foregone myth. And that concludes our look at the Isran or Divines of Iskara. I hope you enjoyed. Feel free to like, subscribe, and comment any of your ideas, suggestions, or feedback down below. Take care and happy world building.